The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan, themorganreport.com, 30 July 2021, and this is the Weekly Perspective. Well, I say it every week, but if you haven't, I would like you to get our free report, free newsletter. Just put in a first name here, and then, of course, an email address, and then click join, and you'll get a response from our autoresponder. Verify it's you, and you're on our free list. So not much to say in the markets. I mean, I could, but basically silvers and gold were beaten up until late in the week, Thursday. Yesterday, both metals showed great strength, and it's attributed to the FOMC remarks. That could be part of it, but it's really, I think that connection is really overblown, and it's deliberate. Like the Fed has all this power because the mainstream financial press buys into that, or helps orchestrate it, and those on the alt media really don't question it as much as I believe they should. But regardless, we saw some strength, seeing some follow through today, but not a lot. And what I want to bring to your attention is something that I've been associated with from the inception. This is a campaign, you could call it, that's going to go out with this video on a Weekly Perspective, and it has to do with LODEpay. And it talks about the upcoming silver squeeze and what LODEpay International did on the last one and what they are going to do on this one. So as it says, if you're interested in participating, there's 4 steps. First is to click this link, register for a LODEpay account. And that brings you to this page. So like a lot of these things on the internet, you're going to want to pick a user's name and your first name, last name, password, confirm your password, your phone number, and you're able to receive text if you are, and an email address. That will not obligate you to anything, but it'll put you in the system. So after you have registered an account, then you click this link and download the LODEpay wallet. And that will bring you to this page. You've got the LODEpay logo over here, reinventing money as you know it. Start spending gold and silver. Instantly, well, it takes a little more than that as far as you have to do register. So a borderless digital asset. So here we go. This is number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Download the LODEpay wallet. It's number 1, and that is the same form that we just looked at, which means that step 1, register for a LODEpay account. And the wallet basically does the same thing. And then, of course, there is the Know Your Customer process. There's a video here you can watch. This is for the LODE project, obviously, and yet not all cryptos require this. But trust me, they all will. There's going to be more and more regulation in this space, just like anything. And think about it, anyone that is in the crypto world that has bought not 100%, but well over 90%, have gone through some type of platform where they had to do a KYC process. So LODE is no different. The tutorial gives you an outline, shows you each window that you'll be looking at. It doesn't take that much time. It's part of the requirement. So once that's accomplished, you're in. So to repeat what you've done, the registration and downloaded the LODEpay wallet, and you've completed the Know Your Customer process, then you can come to ag.lode.one up here in the URL, as you can see, very small. And then you can come over here and you can buy LODE by AGX. And since you've already got an account, you put in your email and your password, you'd sign in, and as a member, you're able to purchase. All right, moving away from the LODEpay silver squeeze. First up is from Zero Hedge. It's probably time to sell. Quote unquote, this is from Scott Maynard, Guggenheim's chief investment officer, warning of the Delta variant and the looming threat to risk assets. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It basically talks about the data and their contrary view. Talks about R naught. You can read that in the article if you don't know what it means. Talks about what he forecasts coming. Another thing I'm going to comment on, one, I really like him. I like his thinking. I think it's very close to mine. That doesn't mean it's right, but it's straight up. And I think this last paragraph or two actually sums it up quite well. Remember, this came from Guggenheim. So I really like what Scott says here at the end. Once again, we find ourselves outside the consensus opinion. I fully expect to hear the catcalls and criticism in the coming days, but we have a higher duty to our clients than the fear of public opinion, and that is honesty. All in all, as far as markets and the economy are concerned, things couldn't be better. If that's the case, I guess it's probably time to sell. Well done, Scott. Next up is a video, and I'm not going to play a video within a video. It doesn't work really well with the strength of my internet. But this is from BNN Bloomberg. This is the former Philadelphia Fed president, Plosser on the economy, and it's well worth listening to. Why? Because he talks about this temporary inflation not being that temporary, and the fact that what he sees is similar to what we saw in the 1970s, and he looks like he's a little older than me, and I lived it, so I'm sure he did as well. I think it's worth getting a different perspective than what the mainstream mostly says, which is, this is a temporary event. Time will tell. I do expect to see a lot of cross currents with this forbearance coming off, and a lot of people, in theory, and probably unfortunately in reality, getting put out on the street because they no longer can afford to pay their rent or make their mortgage. And it's a very sad situation, but that is what's coming down the road, at least as far as we know at this point in time. So coming back to our main website, this is, of course, the landing page, and there's all these places you could go for the book. Consulting we took off, the 2 subscription services that we have. We just did a mastermind for a financing for a gold company, actually, that will be available to about the middle of August. So if you are a premium member, the members login is over here in the upper right. It has an email, of course, and then it wants a password. And we will be publishing the August issue tomorrow, the 1st of August. The reports are due the first Monday of every month, so we usually put them out over the weekend, especially if we have new recommendations. So basically market open in any part of the world. Since it's a weekend, you have to wait to your respective open, whatever market you're in, Hong Kong, Australia, the Far East, and it works your way through, through Europe, New York, markets, etc. Anyway, this is last month's. This is, the editorial. Had an interview with Matt Watson, and he did an excellent job of showing us his work. That's a very deep dive into the usage of almost all the metals. We focus on silver naturally, but how much demand there will be in the future for this high-tech age that continues to increase. So it's a very interesting interview, and that was the editorial. Talked about platinum, as you can see, and then, of course, we usually talk about the blockchain and have in every issue for about the last 2 years. I'll leave it at that. This month, they focused basically what happened to silver and gold markets, which we touch every month. And then, of course, we did a blockchain brief as usual. There is a gold feature on a way to participate in a leveraged way that's pretty conservative. Also, one of our members had an account of what's going on in South Africa from a very personal perspective. We kept his anonymity, but we used his words and edited them slightly. Not anything, we didn't take out anything factual. And it really proves beyond a shadow of a doubt why you want some physical metal. And the reasons are very obvious in this missive that we put into the August edition of the Morgan Report. So I'll leave it there. We'll be back with you next week with another weekly perspective.